Hey there. So welcome back to another video, guys. Thank you guys for stopping by my YouTube. So if you clicked on this video, it's because you're getting ready to go on a cruise or whatever the case, or I don't know. Maybe you're going on a cruise. Maybe you're planning on going on a cruise. Maybe it's your first cruise. So here in today's video, I'm going to let you guys know what I believe would be the absolute perfect cruise for you to get on. And yeah, you guys just stay tuned right after the intro. So in this video, I'm going to do like a somewhat review / what to expect on this certain cruise. So you guys seen it in the title, you guys seen it in the thumbnail. The cruise that I'm referring to is Royal Caribbean's Enchantment of the Seas. So my experience with going on Enchantment of the Seas was quite an experience, just to say the least. It's a pretty good cruise, I believe. Pretty great, honestly. We went on a 5/ you can say 6-day cruise, I guess you can say, to Nassau and the perfect day at CocoCay. So those were the two destinations going on this cruise. So let's talk about embarkment. I think we loaded up on the boat at about 10 o'clock in the morning out of Tampa or something like that. Embarkment was pretty easy, no issues whatsoever. We got right on the boat, no problems. Now, when you get on the cruise, you're gonna have to wait. You can't just go straight into your room like a lot of people would expect. And, you know, there's a reason for that, you know, because you have people who's already getting off of the cruise and things like that before you. So they have to, you know, tidy up, get the room somewhat together. But however, these are some of the things that you're going to want to bring onto the boat with you. So me and my wife, we did have like Lysol wipes and things like that. You cannot bring aerosols whatsoever on this cruise or on almost any cruise, be honest with you. They're probably going to stop you at the gate and have you either toss it or they're just going to confiscate it and give it to you once you get off. I guess you could say we're a little bit more funny, as some people like to call it, when it comes to sleeping in public areas such as like hotel rooms, Airbnbs, cruises, for example. We're not the type to get all up underneath the sheets and blankets and all that stuff. We brought our own blankets. You guys can bring your own blankets at any given time. Try your best not to overpack. When you overpack, it's going to be quite a day toting that luggage around on that cruise. Good thing is this is a smaller boat, but yeah, man, there's plenty of things that you can do on this boat as well, but we'll get more into that in just a sec. So when it came to embarkment day, like I said before, we got on a cruise at about 10 a.m. We had to wait until I believe 1:45 p.m. just to get into our room. And once you get to your room, your luggage is still not going to be there. You're still going to have to wait for your luggage. So we waited around for the luggage, but once I seen them like lining all the luggage up in the hallway, I quickly found our bags and just help myself, you know, grab my luggage ourselves. Now, when you first get on the boat, it's things to do. Like I said, you can still explore the boat. A lot of things are going to be closed when you get on there, though, at 10 a.m. The very first thing that we noticed when we made it into our room was that, first of all, we had a suite. You know, it wasn't like the little small in-cabin room or whatever you want to call it. I forgot what it's called, but it's like the ones that don't have like a balcony. We had an entire balcony and everything, a couch and all that stuff in there. But the very first thing we noticed was that the entire room needed to be renovated. So when you go on Enchantment of the Seas, you will realize that it's an older boat. It was made, I believe, back in 1997. Hasn't been renovated since, you can say, just about. I'm not exactly sure why. So Royal Caribbean, if you guys can hear me, please hear me clearly, okay? Just because it's your first boat or one of your oldest boats, don't mean you have to keep it that way. You know, we understand it was manufactured in 1997. Now, you can update it now. It's 2026 now, okay? Now, I did see that, you know, on you guys' website, I'll try to put like a post up or a screenshot, share it with you guys, that Royal Caribbean is starting to tear down, you know, some of their boats to renovate them and things like that. I'm not sure if the source is reliable or not, but I'm not sure they would lie about something like that either. So, you know, they're already coming out with new boats like Icon of the Seas, Star of the Seas, so on and so forth, etc. Now, some of the things you're going to be able to bring with you would be, if you can only bring 12 drinks. If you decide to bring 12 sodas or whatever, you can bring 12 sodas. Now, if you decide to bring 12 bottles of water, you can do that as well. Or just pay for those drinks while you're on board. You're going to be able to have access to alcoholic drinks, I guess you can say. I'm not calling anybody an alcoholic or anything. I drink, you know, every now and then as well. But however, you can pay for the drink package. Now, This is one thing that a lot of people do not like about Royal Caribbean. They have made their entire drink package. This includes, if you want any type of alcohol, beverages, soda, things like that. Yeah, the drink package I believe was almost about $600-700 last time I looked at it, and I don't think that was worth it, because one thing they're not going to tell you before you even pay for that package is the fact that they have drinks already on board. Now, are the drinks good, such as like your lemonade, whatever you want to call that type of drink genre, I guess you can say. The drinks are actually quite watered down. If you ask me, it's watered down. It's watery as hell, but it's better than nothing. You know what I mean? Like, you can always, like I said, if you bring your 12 drinks, whether it's six bottles of water or if it's 6 sodas, either way it go, you can only get up to 12 in your room. Here are some of the things that you can do while on the ship. So day one, I would say, like I said, it's embarkment day. So you're literally just getting onto the ship, trying to figure out things, where you're going, where's your room, how does your room look. Our room was absolutely stunning, to say the least. You know what I mean? Like, it was old. Of course, it was old. That doesn't mean it was bad. But the views that we had of the ocean, the what do you call it? The sunset, sunrise, and all that good stuff, absolutely unmatched. Absolutely. So we had a great time, and it was plenty of times where, most of my mornings were spent literally just walking out onto our balcony and, just seeing a beautiful sunrise, that slight orange, orange reddish type of tint coming from the sun, and then you see it coming over the ocean. It was just absolutely beautiful, man. Beautiful views. Now let's get on some of the things that you can do here on the ship. You have casinos, you have like art museums. Like, the art museum isn't that extensive, if you ask me. It's pretty small, but however, it's still plenty of things for you to look at. And it gives you that feel like, I don't know if it's a good feeling, but the Titanic, and I guess a lack of words, a Titanic. Even though it wasn't a great ending when it comes to the Titanic, however, you must admit it was still a beautiful, beautiful boat. So this kind of gives that same type of feeling when you looking at the art and things like that. Very nice things to look at, very nice things. And also, you can purchase some of the art as well. You can also go to the gym, keep your weight in order, things like that. Get you some muscle on your body. A lot of things to do. So also, they have live shows. If you guys know me in person, some of you guys, friends, family, whatever, if you guys know me in person, you would know I'm a huge advocate when it comes to listening to live jazz music, all that type of stuff. I'm very musically inclined. So that was just an absolute plus, just to be able to go to something like that and witness it live while on the boat. Just live jazz. One thing I did realize, though, about this Royal Caribbean cruise is it's not like some of these other boats where, you got people twerking and all this other crazy junk on the boat or whatever. This boat is more so like a mellow type of boat. You literally come there to relax. You're on vacation. You're chilling. You don't have to worry about thumping all through the night because of the bass of the music and things like that. People loud, screaming, drunk. You don't have to worry too much about that. Not saying that things like that don't happen, but I didn't see it when I went on there. First night, we had the balloon release party or whatever. You got a group of people. They all get together like towards the middle of the boat, and they're playing music. They're having like live music being played, or singing all type of pop songs and things like that, and a whole bunch of reggae. I love reggae music as well, so I was definitely there. Now the balloon release party, they had a countdown from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and so on and so forth. And they just released the balloons from the sky. Everybody screaming, yelling. Because this is when we're supposed to be taking off. The boat's supposed to be leaving once the balloon release party happens. So that was day one. So when it comes to day two, we more so spent time like exploring the boat, because it's literally us just cruising on the water that entire day as well. So as we're cruising on that water the entire day, we, me and my wife, we explored the boat. We ate food. We did all the things. That's the day I think I went to the gym that day. I don't think I've recorded any footage of it, but I did go to the gym that day. Now let's get down to the food. The food on the ship. A lot of people I found were going to the Windjammer, things like that. Now the Windjammer is a buffet on the ship. Let me tell you, a lot of people may feel some type of way about a buffet for whatever reason. For many reasons, to be honest with you, a lot of people aren't really sanitary when it comes to being around food. People sneezing, coughing around the food, all that type of stuff. No, here at the Windjammer, I found it to be pretty pristine and kept in order. It wasn't dirty. The food was actually really, really good. However, what I did find is look over your silverware. Even my wife, she's the type to, when we go to like any type of restaurant, hey, ma'am, do you have any plastic silverware, plastic utensils? That's how she is. She made me that way, be honest with you, but it's understandable because you don't. Last thing you want to do is turn over your fork and see a piece of macaroni from the last person eating. You don't want to see that, bro. It's disgusting. Just look over your silverware. If one of them isn't clean, go back up there to the buffet. It's like a big tub full of silverware. Just find something, take a handful of them. That's what I was doing. Like I said, the drinks are watered down, the lemonade, pink lemonade, tea. I wouldn't touch that tea. I would not touch that tea. It don't taste like Popeye's tea. It's watery. You're gonna have to add a little sugar to it. Like, that's just how it is, man, on that ship. But the food at the Windjammer, really good. Now, they do have like fine dining there as well. I can't remember what day we went, but let me tell you, Chop's Grill is actually pretty tasteful. You know what I mean? It's a pretty good place to go to. It's pretty expensive if you decide you're gonna have to pay out of pocket. But one thing is, when you're booking your cruise, what is it called? It's like you can book like a reservation for one night at the restaurant or whatever. And that's another thing. When you get on these type of cruises and boats and things like that, make sure you have a pretty decent amount of money, so that way you're able to tip the workers and things like that. One thing I noticed too on day one, very first thing, the guy, as soon as me and my wife sat down inside of the at the bar or whatever the case, we weren't necessarily at the bar. We were like way off to the side at a table by ourselves. And they're very tentative. He walked up and was like, hey, would you guys like to look at the menus and blah blah blah, whatever. I'm like, sure, whatever. So we took a drink, whatever the case may be, and I noticed him sitting there after he brought the drink back with his hand behind his back. He was like, pretty much that he may as well have done that, the way he was just standing there looking at us. So I'm like, okay. So yeah, that's why I said it's important. Make sure you have yourself a nice little wad of money, so that way you're able to tip the hardworking people that work for Royal Caribbean. Now, they did have other nights where you can have like, they had like game shows and things like that. And they actually showed it on the TV. So that way, if you weren't a part of it, you can watch it from the room and see how it works. So day 3 at the cruise is when we finally touched down on the island. Perfect day at CocoCay. Now, when you get on this island, you're going to be greeted with a lot of people. First of all, you got to go through the clearance and all that stuff. You can't take pocket knives and crazy things like that with you. Come on, people. You can't take that stuff with you on that island. So you go on that island and whatever. And one thing you can do is shop. You can shop all over while on the ship and things like that too. I don't think I mentioned that, but you can shop on the cruise as well. On day 2, we actually explored the ship and all that stuff. And forgot to mention, it's like a baby mall, pretty much, you can say, down there in the shopping area. But plenty of things that you can purchase, like bags, jewelry, fragrances, things like that, souvenirs, cameras, all type of different things, vlogging cameras, things like that, for example. Okay, now let's get back on day 3. So day 3, as you're getting off the cruise or whatever the case to explore the island, perfect day, CocoCay, you go on the island, you're greeted with the dancers. They're all singing and dancing, half naked, things like that. Just a beautiful vibe out there, man. Now, when you explore the island, you will see it's a beach pretty much. Like, it's like an island with a bunch of baby islands on it. So pretty much, if you don't want to be where all the loud crew is and things like that, you don't have to go to one island. You got like 5 other ones to choose from. Now, is the boat going to take you there? No, it's going to take a whole lot of walking. So you're going to get a little exercise in too when you're going on these cruises and going out on the island. Now, the things that you can do on the island is food on the island, similar to the Windjammer, where, they have a buffet. They have chicken sandwiches and all that stuff when it's lunchtime on the island. But before you actually get off the boat, they have breakfast as well. So you can eat breakfast, go explore the island. Then lunchtime come around, you eat lunch on the island, serve the same exact food. So you're good. So things you can do on the island, they have kayaking. Of course, I wasn't going to kayak just because I do that at home. So I'm like, and then it's in the ocean. I kind of was a little skeptical about kayaking in the ocean anyway. All the type of wildlife and things like that that's in the water. Last thing I want to do is get tipped over. you know, and be in a ocean full of sharks, you know, or jellyfish, anything. No. But they have kayaking, they have zip lining. We did explore with the zip lining. You go around the whole entire island. It's like one long zip line. Then it's like a little stop station, walk up some stairs, another one, stop station, go up some stairs, and so on and so forth. You do that about 3 times, that's done. Now, how much does it cost a zip line? I don't exactly remember. I think it was like 75-ish per person, something like that. They do have a weight limit. I think it's like 300 pounds or something like that. Whatever. But also, they have, what do they call? Swimming with the pigs or the bacon, whatever you want to call it. You're swimming with the bacon. And, you know, you go out there, you can swim in the beach. There's a bunch of little piglets and things like that. Little cute little pigs. However, and the last thing I would say they had was jet skiing. Now, we did jet ski as well. That's about $175 a person. So we jet ski. We chose to go together because I know my wife can't swim. So we chose to go together. Sorry to throw you out there, babe, but you'll be okay. You'll be okay. However, yeah, we chose to ride together on a jet ski, and you know, you put your life jacket on, whatever, and they go over like a little class with you guys before you even go out there onto the water, and they have guides all over the place. Now, not gonna lie to you, we went at the wrong time of the year. It started raining while we were jet skiing, but the difference is it was actually already hot outside, so it kind of didn't matter. But you know, you got rainwater and then you got salt water flying all up in your face while you're trying to jet ski, eyes burning and red. You know, it was just one of those type of days for us. But however, we still made great fun out of it. We had a great time, and the rain didn't last too long while we were on the island. It rained a little bit, then it went away. Sun came out. Enjoyed the rest of our day. Now, for the jet skiing, you're going to be out there for about an hour and a half. Like, you're literally going way across the ocean as a group and going to visit like different little stop areas and things like that. Every now and then, you know, the whole group will like rally up and stop in one big circle, and you'll all just sit there. They'll talk to you, make sure everything's okay. And okay, cool. So then they're going to point to you, hey, follow me. I'm going to go out here, make a big circle, and you just follow them all in a line. Now, however, I was a little bit scared, I'm not going to lie, about jet skiing because I know how I feel about big bodies of water. I don't like them. Funny for me to say because I'm always on a kayak, fishing, things like that, back at home anyway. So, yeah, man. But I know there's no sharks in the lake either. So that's the only difference. There's no sharks in the lake. There's no jellyfish in the lake. Nothing. Now, if you're like in a southern region like Florida, for example, I'm damn sure not going to kayak out there because come on, man, we know what's in there. So, however, yeah, we made a great day out of that, and that was day 3. So now we break it down to day 4 is when we, you know, you get back on the boat at 4:30 on day 3 and, you know, enjoy the rest of your day from there. So day 4 come around and we're in Nassau early morning as well, 6-7 o'clock in the morning. And you got to be back on the boat by 4:30-ish, I believe. Same thing, same deal. Luckily, we did have family out there, so we were able to explore Nassau a lot more than some of the regular people that were on the boat. So, you know, we went with family. We had a private tour. We visited, like, I believe it's called the Rum Cake Factory. Rum cake is absolutely delicious, man. And you can actually taste the rum in the cake. So it was really good. Then we had a woman sing to us. We had went to, you know, do a little flavor testing, trying to see what we wanted to eat for that evening. We actually went out to eat. And then from there, we went to Atlantis. You can meet all type of celebrities and things like that at Atlantis. You know, I was actually quite shocked to see some of the name brand stores and things that were in there, you know, like Cartier jewelers and all that stuff. And they had a giant casino. Yeah, just a really nice place just overall, man. Plenty of places to come on, everybody. I already know what I'm going to say. Say it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. We all know that's all you're going to be doing this entire time that you're on your vacation and shopping. Pretty much. Plenty of places to take pictures on Nassau Island. Just a great experience overall. Plenty of scenery. Then we have visited like this historical place where I forgot the name of it, but it's like 3 forts all together. But man, I felt like I was on the History Channel. And if you guys know me, once again, If you guys know me in person, you would know I am a huge geek when it comes to history, science, and things like that. I love history. So just hearing about the history of the Bohemian lifestyle and all that type of stuff and how they gained their independence and everything, it was just absolutely incredible to learn about while being out there on vacation. And like I said, the fact of the matter is we actually were able to explore these options because we had family members out there. Now, visiting some of these places and things like that, you get to hear about the history. You get to actually get up close and touch cannons and things like that. And it was just nice. And then we went down like into this dungeon or jail cell, whatever it's called, but they actually had one. And we were a little skeptical about going down there, but after a while, I was like, oh, this is pretty exciting. So went down there, seen everything, visited the history and all that stuff, learned about everything. And from there, we took pictures with like the army, or I think it's like kind of like a national guard, like how we have here in America. They have like a national guard out there as well. Now let's move on to day 5. So 4:30 rolled around, we got back on the boat. Boom, that was the end of it. Day 5. So it was supposed to be a 5-day cruise, but we ended up getting back home pretty much, you could say, by day 6 to be able to get on the airplane or fly back home, whatever we had to do. Now, day 5, we visited the jazz festival, things like that. Now is the point of the trip where it's like, oh man, we're gonna miss this. We're definitely gonna miss this. Waking up to these beautiful views and all this other stuff or whatever, and then just reminiscing on the entire trip. Just an excellent experience, if you ask me. Especially like if it's your first time out of the country. It's a really nice trip overall, man. I don't want to make this video too long, but day 5, like I said, we had the jazz festival. We visited the comedy show. That's pretty much it. Just went back to the art museum, checked things out. So day 6 was the day we got off. They weren't rushing us to get off the boat like, hey, boom, 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 get up, get out of your room, let's go, it's time to go. They weren't like that. I mean, I'm sure they would have been if you decided to be asleep, if you decided to sleep in or whatever you want to call it that day. So overall, when we got off the boat, it was a little bit of a line, just trying to get off of the boat. But once you actually get off, it was just smooth sailing from there. You just literally can walk through all the security clearance and checks and all that. Of course, you got to take your bag, put it on the little line and all that stuff so they can run it through the machine, make sure you don't have anything you're not supposed to have, such as contraband and things like that. I get that. But that didn't even take long, man. It was literally a breeze. Really, it really was. It was a breeze. So other than that, man, great trip. Would I recommend someone get on Royal Caribbean's Enchantment of the Seas? Oh man, absolutely. Absolutely. And if I was to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this boat and this entire cruise for the time that we went, 5 days, to Nassau and CocoCay. I would say a solid 8.5 out of 10. Now, the negative takeaways of this entire cruise, like I said before, is really just the renovations. That's it. So I can actually bump that up to about a 9. I give it about a 9. 9 out of 10, man. 9 out of 10, 100%. But no, we're going to bring it back down. 8.5, because people probably been telling them to renovate the entire cruise for for many, many years. But they still haven't done it. So just renovate it, bro. Come on, Royal Caribbean. Come on. I'm trying to get you guys some customers here. And this is an unpaid review, unpaid sponsor, whatever you want to call it. This was me spending money basically for me and my family to have a nice little cruise. That was about it. And this is my feedback on it. I'm sure you guys want some type of feedback, right? Well, you're going to get straight honesty from me. So I give it an 8.5, man. Just renovate, please. For the love of Christ, man, just renovate. Other than that, and the last little piece I would say, on the last day of the cruise, man, give you guys a quick little story. So on the cruise, it's not really a story, just whatever. Give you guys a little. So on the last day of the cruise, man, we're sitting there enjoying jazz, having whatever, having a good little time. Me and my wife sitting at the bar, and I'm spent around or whatever in my stool, drinking my drink, and some big muscular like football player looking guy sitting next to me. And I know they say look out for the people that have like the pineapple button ups and things like that on. He didn't have that on. He had like an all white. Yeah, I don't know if that's y'all let me know what that means if somebody's wearing all white. But I know they had an all white party as well. So he was wearing all white, but it wasn't that day. So I don't know what he was doing. But yeah, man. So anyway, we're sitting at the bar, and someone actually, this guy actually bought me a drink, and I felt a little weirded out. To be honest with you, I don't know if he was expecting a piece of ass or whatever, but I didn't have a piece of ass to give him. So, and I wasn't gonna give it to him anyway. So I looked at my wife like, you might have to take one for the team, buddy. Come on, babe. So anyway, yeah, just turned out to be a really friendly guy. Not that big of a deal, man. So he gave me the drink or whatever the case, and I made sure he didn't drop anything in it. And that was it. I just felt it a little weird, the fact that, you were, at first it was just me and my wife at the bar, and he came and sat behind me pretty much like a stool over. So I was okay with that. Then next thing I know, he moved over like right next to me. It's kind of like similar to being in a urinal as a guy in a bathroom. It's just guy etiquette, bro. You don't take a piss next to a guy at the urinal. Like if it's only 3 urinals and it's 2 guys on the outside, you don't come walk in between them and take a piss. Like you're not supposed to do that. You sit there and wait, or you go in the stall and handle your business. But it's kind of similar to that, man. I was just weirded out. Like, why are you so close? So I just moved over another seat, and he ended up buying me a drink. So I'm like, I don't know. It sounds weird saying that shit, be honest with you, but oh man. Anyway, yeah, man, really friendly people on the cruise, really friendly staff and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely recommend it. That's all I have for you guys. I know this video is a little bit lengthy, and I also know that this video is somewhat out of our norm. We normally talk about trucking here and fishing, gaming, things like that. But yeah, man, if you guys found this video informative, don't forget to leave a like, comment what you guys think, comment whatever I left out. Help some of these people out here, because it's a lot of people that's looking to book a cruise in 2026. I know right now we got some bad weather going on, but yeah, man, help these people out. And like I said, like, comment, subscribe. That's all I have for you guys. So with all that being said, now that we got that out the way, peace.
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.